Oh, just chasing Lux. Okay,
Lux.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
It could be Lux. It could be easy. It doesn't be hard.
Okay. Let's see. Hello,
We're already
everyone.
live.
I know.
Yep.
Yep. No, not to you. I'm just talking to everybody and making sure that they can hear us and
Yeah.
all that good stuff. And Candy. I see Chasing Lux is in the chat. Thank y'all. That was awesome. The Visible Film. Can they hear Tatiana and Chasing Lux? Say hello,
Can
y'all.
you guys hear me? I hear Jason Lux good.
Oh,
Anything? Anyone?
Yep, I hear myself out the output. We're
Oh,
good.
all right. We good then. Yes, we're here. We're live. We're good. It's working. How's everybody
Thanks, Twitch, for
doing? Thank you.
me.
Yes, yes.
stay that
Pretty
way.
much. Well, welcome everyone. We are here live on twitch.tv/ for all nerds for the Attack the Block after party. And I myself, DJ BenHaMeen, am here with my co-host from For All Nerds, Tatiana King, and also from Thumbstick Mafia, we have Chasing Lux.
Thanks for joining
Here.
us.
Hey! We don't have any sound effects yet. Still, we're still working on that. But yeah, here we
That's all
are.
right.
Yeah. So yeah, first of all, let me just say thank you to everyone out there who was using the Boyegas block, the Attack the Block hashtags. That shit was amazing to see it, to see everybody going in, enjoying this movie. Um, yeah, I'm gonna let y'all talk. I haven't seen this shit since the first time I saw it, and I forgot how incredible this damn movie is.
What?
Yo,
Yeah,
This is how
yeah.
I became obsessed with John Boyega. I had to
yeah,
find everything he was in after that.
mm,
You just knew he was going to be a star. Like he
Hmm.
really ate that role. He
yeah.
really, really did.
Oh yeah, I was that way from the first time I saw it, but that's what I'm saying. Since then, I haven't watched it again. But I saw it like when it dropped, and I was like, "Oh, this kid!" I thought all of them were stars right away when I saw this movie. I was like, "Yo,
Hmm.
these kids are all incredible." And Jody, I just realized now that that's the doctor, but it's crazy. Even then, I was like,
Hmm.
everybody in this movie is incredible. The first time I saw it, I watched it like 2 times in a row probably, and was like, this shit is just so fire. Like, but seeing it again, goddamn.
And this movie came out what back in 2011? Is that correct? Like
Yep.
around that time.
Yeah.
So it's
Damn, I
funny.
felt
I
like it
mean,
was longer than that.
well, what's funny about it that it came out kind of a while ago, but the point is the social commentary is still very much valid,
Yeah.
especially now. Like that, just some of the dialogue that they were
Mm.
talking about, particularly when it was kind of that one of those speeches that Moses gave when he we are not each
Mm-hmm.
other's, and it's interesting. That's the first that you've seen that type of kind of social commentary in films like this. Just when you juxtapose it with the fact that it was just perfectly done. I really appreciate it. Just targeting these in terms of the main characters that it was these in. Usually with aliens, you see them there in like cornfields, some random spot
Mhm.
that no one really cares about, like New York or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. To see this based in London, number one, and based, in the based just in their life, and just being them. I thought it was
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal.
In the council, I think they're called the Council of States or the Council States. I actually went
Yeah.
through one of those when I was in London last year.
Mm.
Shout out to my man Awate. He took me
Oh
through one of
yeah.
them. Yeah, he took me at night to the joint, but it was chill. We was in man's crib, burning trees and listening to different music and shit. But I didn't
It's
realize.
chill because you're of the culture. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, and I didn't realize where I was at until afterwards when we're walking out. I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. We're in, this is where we're in. But, I was roasted, so, it was a great night. Yeah, it was a good shit, man.
Did
Shout
you
out
have
to
a
Awate, and then we were burning it down. Oof, beautiful night.
chasing?
I have a few. When the kids end up hopping into the garbage with Biggs, and he's like, "Wagwan Biggs," and he like that to me was like finally called by the name
Mm.
to be called by,
Yes.
and just like very heroic thing, but they had to run from the. We corrected the situation out as we don't get it. Um,
Yeah. Cute.
Also, Hi Hat. All the scenes with Hi Hat because he's just hilarious
Yes.
to me. Of course, get the snitch, get the strap.
That
Don't
song
give a
was
fuck.
awful. Awful.
It's amazing.
It's awesome.
That song was awful. On Twitch right now, Twitch TV. Excuse me, Twitch.nerds. E. Executioner writes, Moses hanging from the Union Jack struck me. The Union Jack being the flag for the UK. That was definite symbolism there. What you thought about? What did you guys think about that?
I mean, it's all of that. There's so much to it. You know, it's like the fact that, you know, he was class and everything is brought up so much through this film. You know, like when they get to, I can't remember Jody, Karen, you know, Karen's flat. When they get to Karen's flat, it's like, you know, that's the immediate thing. She's like, oh, I want to move out of here because this isn't a nice neighborhood. And they're so impressed by her shit. They're blown away by where she lives. And she's like, I want to get out of here. So the hanging from the Union Jack, it's all, you know, it just goes to everything. It's like, is he tearing down Britain? Are the people of Britain looking at him as he's tearing down Britain? Or is it because he's bringing something different to the British culture? Something that, like, in American culture has been there since the beginning of British culture and has created British culture, for that matter, is black people. So it's like, you know, some people will look at him as tearing it down, but then the people in the hood are like, Moses, Moses, screaming his name. So, man, you know, it's so many levels to that scene right there, to the whole film.
And I thought that was, you know, that was very, very MO of the cops to be arresting the wrong people.
Right.
And
I think it was also really powerful too that throughout like most of the movie, like Moses has like broken cuffs on.
Yes.
So he's formulating like how to save the block, and he's working through his own sort of like issues where it's like, dang, like I kind of low key kick this off in a way where it became personal, and he had to process all of these things, and the entire time he has these cuffs on him because you dead escape police custody. Like that's really what happened, and that's something that you still have to deal with. I feel like you saw a lot of full circle moments like at the end when the nurse was like, no, like these are my neighbors, like I know them. But it's just like everything through the experience allowed them to see each other for the first time.
Absolutely. Crochet Kingpin, I love that name. Crochet Kingpin in the chat says, seeing it in the hood was striking. Having them struggle with real life and aliens and seeing the police as a greater threat ultimately was super real. Just once again, it's just like a lot of people touched on that during a live tweet on Twitter. Everyone was like, you know, they got all this stuff going on them, like unprecedented fucking aliens happening, and they still got to worry about racism. You still got to worry about police. That's their kids that reminding us as the viewers throughout the film that these are children.
Yes,
they are children, and regardless of how old they look or whatever, even the woman said it. It was like, "Oh, you look older." He's 15, bro.
Yeah,
he's 15. Yeah. He's absolutely he's just a kid.
But hold on, that goes to, you know, black men, black women always being over our age, you know, being assumed to be older of our age and being a threat because of it. That you look older line can be taken so many ways, you know what I mean? It can be taken in the way of you're a threat. You know, she was scared of him when she first saw them. Because he looks older, but he, like you said, he's 15, bro. Like, come on.
It's wild.
Yeah.
And I think there are a lot of moments where you got the childlike criticism where it was like really innocent, but it was just like really spot on. Like when
Yes.
she was talking like her boyfriend like volunteering abroad, and little dude was like, okay, so we're not exotic enough for you. Like you can
Mhm.
help out at home. And there were
Mm.
just like little moments like that where it shows the difference in the way they see the world because right that question, but they were still worlds apart in terms like how they live.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was from the block and she was
Yep.
new to all of it
And didn't want to be there.
Yes.
and didn't want to be there.
While he loved it, was sitting there bumping KRS-One.
Yes. Yeah,
Sound
definitely.
of the
Oh,
police.
he was living. That reminds me of what you said about the other guy bumping KRS-One, or some of the white boys. Just like the white boys that are down
Mm-hmm.
with the cause, or the white boys that are or believe themselves to be part of the culture. There was a little bit of that, a little bit of a conversation about that in the movie as well. Back in the chat, George Car 3 writes, "Where are those kids' parents? Where are those kids' parents? All the kids, even the little younger ones. Where are these people?" I think Moses says, "What did Moses live with his uncle, and his uncle was just out a lot."
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
Working.
what that means.
But
Is that
when you're within that like social class, like generally like people have multiple jobs or they work odd shifts or those are the essential workers.
yes,
So they're not always home. So you have kids that have to kind of make their own ends in a way.
absolutely. Shout outs to Jackie Alcine. Amazing. I love it.
Oh,
Thank you,
thank you.
Jackie.
Beautiful.
Also, you also let me see here. People are just talking about some of their favorite
Moses is definitely one. I love
characters.
Jerome. Light skinned man.
Rest in power, Jerome. Damn.
Yeah, light skinned man who went out first. I'm not sure his name.
Oh
He
yeah.
reminded me of a dude from Power. He was like he was like the British version of my man from Power who gets taken out as well. I loved all the kids, man. Honestly, I think every single last one of them. My man, I'm
Yeah,
too
they were
high for
exceptional.
this. Is
Yes.
one
Oh,
of the like that's my spirit animal right
I was
there.
gonna say that's all you, Ben. I
Yeah,
mean,
everything he was saying, I loved him from the first time I saw it. The first time I saw it, my favorite line in the film was, "But this is sick," like.
that reminds me of like one thing I remember very distinctly the first time I watched this film and was reintroduced to was the authentic slang.
Yes, and it.
Uh, the kids slang, and it's a little dated now, but a lot of stuff is still
Oh, that's still
100%
going
on
hard,
point.
body.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
they was like pure coming down. Remember they said it.
yeah.
That's not crazy.
Yes.
What they said, like using the word bear, and
Bear.
like all those
Yeah.
terms, like they were used authentically. Like you can
Hmm.
tell that this wasn't just someone writing something and saying, "Oh, well, maybe this is how kids talk." Like, no, this was authentic dialogue.
And shout outs to Joe Cornish, who is the writer and director, who, we're going to have him on For All Nerds. He also approved of this. He was loving everything about it. He's
Yes,
in
thank you,
London
Joe.
right now, so he couldn't stay awake to actually join us, and he's not on Twitter. So, but one thing is, he's a white dude, but he also went and took the time and really learned that slang. He is British, but he's
Hmm.
not from, I'm not sure if he's actually from that hood, growing up or not, but he went and took the time to make sure that it was accurate to that hood, because it's just like here, like you have people from Brooklyn who sound different from people from Harlem, and the same way in
Yes.
London. It's just, I know cats who sound from this area don't talk like that area. It's all the same thing,
Hmm.
and I loved it. All the man, them kids were amazing, and all the dialogue, everything, so on point.
I think it's really interesting too because this was his directorial debut.
Fucking hell.
Which is wild,
Like
Yeah.
right? Like,
like his first movie was Attack the Block. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
shout out to Peter Ramsey, the co-director of Spider-Verse. He was live tweeting with us on Twitter, and he said screenwriters, this is as tight as a drum in terms of the writing of Attack the
I
Block, and I
agree.
have to agree. Like,
Yeah.
just for it to be his first time, my God.
Yeah, I agree. I agree fully, 100% on that. It's so good. Like the character development, the arcs, they make you care. It's like a classic horror film where you
Yes.
have a limited amount of time to make you care about all these characters before you murder them off. and they do that so well. And then they do it, and like I saw you tweeting about that, Tatiana, or Blur Girl. Shout out to Blur Girl. She was saying the same thing. They introduced the aliens right away, and
Right
they do
away.
the classic horror film there too, again, where no one takes it seriously. And then they flip little things in the horror film genre. Like I peeped this time that all the black people immediately run out like, "Yo, we're gonna kill this shit." And it's
Mm-hmm.
hilarious because every time we always say as black people, "Yo, if that
We ain't
happened,
going.
we ain't
Not going
going."
to investigate.
And
We're
we
No.
not.
ran, all of
Not.
them run out and leave the two white boys on the couch.
Excitedly. Very
Excitedly.
excitedly.
Very
Ready to
excitedly.
kill
And,
this
see,
shit
and
because
Chasing
these
Luck,
are some-
she wrote that too. Like they were mad excited. Me,
So
I put that
much
meme.
enthusiasm.
I put that Desus and Mero meme that nope.
Yeah.
No,
But see, these some
no.
wild ass young London boys, and they like, fuck that. This our hood. We, serving anything. He said, let's go serve some golems.
Yeah. And I think that was like the underlying like sweet thing to me. Like it was all about fellowship. Like they
Yes.
Yeah.
really, really were down for their block. Like it
Yes.
didn't really show too much else outside of them.
Mm-hmm.
But just the relationships that they had with each other, they were really ready to stall out. And they understood the gravity of it very early on. It's like, yo, it's aliens. It's aliens and they are on us. Like they are fighting us through this building.
Yeah.
Like,
And they were still prepared and okay with doing it. And it's true, like I think one of them, they have a moment where they're like, yo, it's really cool. Like it's crazy, but it's aliens. Like we're going outside, you know what I mean? With weapons to face aliens.
this shit was mad. Like
Insane. I would have been in the house. I ain't gonna hold you.
if, as they were saying, if they were pure coming down right now in New York, I am not out there with nuts, bats, and all sorts of stuff. I'm an adult. I don't know, but and maybe because I didn't have to live that life. Because also, these kids are living.
Mm-hmm.
Live. I have to go out there in the streets and try to run in and shit like that. So that level of courage that they have, but at the same time, I did appreciate that they showed that they were still scared. Like they had courage to stand up to it, but you can tell, you could feel the fear on on Moses' face when he was like going up to the door, looking in the keyhole, looking in the peephole to see if the alien was there. Like you can tell that they seemed brave, they seemed very courageous, but they were still scared. They did it scared. You know what I'm saying? Like they did take charge when they needed to take charge while everybody else ran.
Mm-hmm. But that was something else. Yeah. You talk about favorite scenes, and you mentioned it earlier, Lux, when they jumped in the trash can, and immediately the shorties were terrified of the cops after they had just dropped flames on aliens. But the cops were like, oh, fuck, this is the problem. The aliens, all right, we good. But the cops, oh, my God, we got to get out of here. And that says so much because they're not afraid. Once again, our real problems as black people ain't, anything else. It's, police.
Absolutely. I want to definitely talk about the special like hints and Easter eggs and all sorts of things that pop up all through the film. Like talk about great screenwriting. BenHaMeen, you talked about how there's the alien right up in the yo
fucking incredible. The fucking shot of the plant they mentioned. I mean, first when they bring in, they do it so well twice. When they bring it into the marijuana room in the early movie, when he early in the film, he brings the dead alien in, and the way he holds it in front of this plant makes it form the shape of the alien. And then later on in the movie, they're in the marijuana room and the fluorescent lights are on, and you see one of the plants take the shape of the alien. And by alien, I mean the alien from Alien and Aliens,
yeah.
the classic xenomorph. And seeing those two shots today, I'm like, this, like you said, first film for Joe Cornish. Come on, come on.
Yeah,
man. He was acting up.
He put his both feet were firmly in the bag. Like they built a bag around his feet because he did that. He really did that.
Shouts to Tiger GD in chat, who pointed out, and we pointed this out as well on Twitter, that the dude that played Firestorm on The Flash and Legend of Tomorrow was in the film.
That's who that is.
Yes, with the wild ass haircut.
Yes, that's Young Power. Yes, that's who that
Young
is.
Power.
Yes. That's oh yes, shout outs to him because he got played out on fucking that's Firestorm, man. He didn't get no love.
And he took a huge L in him, but he
Ew.
was being
Yeah,
courageous. Like yikes, yikes,
huge
like,
L.
yeah, yeah. And what's interesting is the film was like very bloody, but it was like lots of jump scares and things like that, but it wasn't like couldn't like get into it. And I think sometimes that's where a lot of horror films lose me when it's just like too gory or doing too much. But this was a good balance of all of that.
Mm-hmm. No, beautiful.
Yeah. A Quiet Stormborn wrote, when that guy got his throat ripped out, I screamed out loud. It got me pretty crazy. And there was
Wait, which
some
one?
shit. Right, verse one. Well, the one
Probably
that
the
got
first,
me,
yeah.
the one that got me was in hi hats. Man's with the gun that was chasing after Moses, who was vexed, as they say. Hi hat with a terrible song. Hi hat, the way they took him out like Walking Dead style. He was eaten alive. His stuff, like this shit was wild, but it was fitting. It was fitting.
Hi-Hat didn't get what he deserved, Crotchet Kingpin. Jesus.
Mm.
Hi-Hat was just trying to make it like everybody else in the hood. Come
That
on.
terrible ass
And
mixtape.
he was doing too much. He really was doing too much.
I mean,
And
this
but
is
the
fact.
a scene that was funny was when they were trying to describe it to him after they got into the accident, and he was like, "Say alien one more time," and he was like, "The big black
Gorilla.
scary looking." Yeah, it's just like, dude, he was just waving a gun in everyone's face for half of that movie. Like, relax.
I
It is
said that-
aliens though.
Yeah.
He looked like Popcorn. You ever see that video of Popcorn shooting on the Jamaican? He's shooting on the range where he has the gun. He has the blicky first,
Just
and then he throws it to the side.
walking
and
that way.
shoots it. Just look on my Twitter, y'all. It's there.
Yeah.
It's hilarious, and
That's
that's what this guy was
hilarious.
doing. Just being wild as hell. Let's see. Who else is going on? Oh yeah, Visible Femme says they were very selective about where and when they actually showed gore, and it made it that much more powerful.
Mm-hmm. It's once again like a classic horror movie. Like I said, you build up, build up, build up. Don't show anything. You make the threat seem not too dangerous. They feel all good about themselves. They're rushing out to get at it, and then wham! When that first one gets got, you're like, oh, it's a problem. This ain't no good. Oh, the one that got me was Jerome. I gotta say, Jerome in that hallway, son screaming and getting dragged away through the mist. I almost said gorillas in the mist. Oh,
Might as well be.
I mean,
What they call them? Gorilla, wolf, orangutan,
yeah,
motherfuckers. Yeah.
gorillas in the mist. Ooh, running from my mama. Yeah, like my man got done to end. So and that was that was a bad look right there.
That reminds me of two things about the film that I focused in on because I thought it was phenomenal. Besides everything else that's phenomenal, but this was also phenomenal. The sound direction, soundtrack. So in terms of how the screams. Well, first of all, the screams of the aliens were unnerving as fuck.
Yes.
And then also, as you mentioned, like Jerome and the rest, like when they're in the hallway and you can't see anything and you just hear these agonizing, blood-curdling screams and the terror that's in there. And again, you don't necessarily see everything, but you feel it. You feel that palpable sense of fear. And then, and that was repeated all throughout the movie. And then the soundtrack itself. What an amazing soundtrack! Like then they at one point that like they played KRS-One, and when they playing some classic reggae, like just great choices in music overall. Great choices.
And real pure British too, like you would say, like straight up like how British people listen to music. Amongst dub, all the dub reggae they were running, all that type of things. Like, I mean, I didn't really hear too much drum and bass or any of that type of stuff. It might have been some during the action scenes, and I wasn't noticing because I was just over here, screaming and shit. But man,
there were elements. There were elements.
That's what I wanted to talk about, the aliens, because I peeped that as we were watching. I was on Tumblr and I was reading this thing about how, and I think this was mainly due to budget, but they ended up not doing CGI for most of those shots. And the first time I saw it, I thought those aliens were CGI.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
right.
But it's straight up, it's just, for the most of it, it's just people in suits. Every now and again, it might be a puppet, and there was some CGI, added to effects and stuff, but it's mainly just, people in suits. And you can even see it when you watch it this time because it affect how heavy they are and things like that. And that's what's so dope about it, because they have that effect that you don't get when you have
Mm-hmm.
CGI, because when they ram into something, you feel it, because the
Yes.
people feel it. It's
Yes.
an actual thing. So that was something I was very peeping. And we were talking about that to be his first movie during that, because I posted the GIF, I think, on the For All Nerds Twitter, during
Yes.
the shot when they're running or they're driving away and the alien jumps off the bridge and then lands and chases after them. You talk about that cut, because the alien lands and then starts running, and it's two different shots, but it's such a beautiful cut where it seems
Mm-hmm.
seamless, and it's like wham, and that's how you get away with trips like that when you can't afford a budget. Because I'm pretty sure the jumping down is CGI, but then the running down the street is just a dude in a suit again.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I think they did really, really great with character design. Like for me, I'm a big creature feature person.
Mm.
And I never really seen like that take on it. I feel like it was also beautiful, like how black it was, so it kind of like faded into the night. You could only really see the mouths were open.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then glow in the dark, like it's such a simple thing, but it made it seem foreign to seeing. And then the blood was black also. So it really gave you this sense of like otherworldliness
Yeah.
without too much. Really is, but it gave it much. And the movement was insane. Like when they were the one that was on top of the building, like seeing from this to leaning over the building before like it was such an eerie scene, because you're really like, yo, is it about to jump off the like, what the hell is about to happen? And then it
Yeah.
does. And you're like, okay, there are no rules. Like, you can do
Okay, it
whatever.
did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
it's
I
climbing up the sides of the building like Spider-Man. Like, what is happening?
completely agree with you when it comes to character design. Really, just again, phenomenal job. And again, I'm glad you touched on it. The teeth, the bioluminescent teeth, glow in the dark, rows of it stacked behind each other, like beyond like what you would see in a shark's mouth. Like it was crazy. And again, that aspect of otherworldliness, and the aspect that this is some other shit.
Mm-hmm.
And get back that people saw even glimpses of enough of it, and they'd be like, "Oh, that's some dog to you." Like that's it was y'all, like y'all all was in Ron's weed room. Rose is not no dog. I don't know. I mean, I've seen big ass dogs.
That's just the human mind trying to comprehend something it can't
Never seen
comprehend. So it's
ever.
like, okay, what is the closest?
That's how you
thing
get
to it?
ate. That's how you.
Well, there's that.
Facts.
Like, come on.
And that's what I loved about it, because they're so incomprehensible. Like I tweeted this. They travel millions of miles. They land, and they have nothing to say. It's just straight up. All right, let's go to work, fellas. Meat's back on the menu.
They not saying what, bruv.
None of
How
that.
y'all do?
None of that.
It just immediate.
I mean, they're not even like, they're screeching, so they're probably communicating and shit, but they are straight up. To us, they've got nothing to say. There's no demands, not trying to hurt us. We don't want your water and your minerals or any of that. No. Meat's back on the menu, fellas, and we're going to work.
So what's scary and where they don't, as BenHaMeen said, they don't say anything. They just come wreck shop, or the aliens that come they work for XYZ and still do what they want to do.
The ones who red shop.
And don't say anything.
Yeah, because you ain't got, it's like, well, fuck. It's like you got, all you got to do is kill or be killed in that situation. If they, say something, I might be like, all right, word, how about you get the other people? How about you,
I don't think you can reason with them, sir.
I mean, we might be able to make a deal. It's better than aliens who are just busting into my apartment while I'm smoking my J and trying to eat me. You know what I mean? At least the aliens who reason will let me finish my J up.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out what you're about to offer these aliens. Like, as a Jew, like, okay, let's figure something out.
I already told you. You didn't hear
What
it.
do you want?
I will sell out a certain, portion of the populace. I'm not sure who that is just yet. Yeah,
Well,
I'm not
okay.
sure who just yet. I'm just saying though.
Wow.
Hey, Hey, you got to like I say, you got to make a deal. You know?
So like yo, I had said, like I said a few minutes earlier about people just assuming that these things were dogs or something. And in the chat, Tiger GD says all you see is a silhouette of a furry creature on all fours. And I'm like,
Mhm.
a glow in the dark teeth though, and he responds, a furry creature that ate a glow stick.
Yeah, it
No,
might
sir.
be. I mean, it's moving
No,
No.
quick.
ma'am. No,
It's
sir.
night.
No, 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 no.
Yeah, yeah. No. Oh, no, it's moving quick. It's a night, but no. Yeah, no.
No. Mighty O asked a good question. Were these aliens ultimately looking for revenge? So are they in the wrong?
What were they looking for revenge for?
Well, that's the question. Were they looking for revenge? So remember, they started wilding out because Moses. Well, he did the Moses killed the female, or there's some the female alien was there to start the invasion. She was spreading her phone. Moses killed it. It was all over him, and that's why the male aliens were following him. So is this revenge?
I mean, I would assume so. Like revenge or release. Like, hey, we're gonna get you out of here. Like, we don't know like what you did exactly, but we know what you smell like.
Okay.
So I never touched them. Hey, they could have. How that would have gone?
That I would be scared of that.
I mean, Jesus, yeah.
Shout out to Big Dad, resident scientist, expert, professor, Batman, Joe Clark. He's in here saying, nah, monster behavior was all biological and personal. It was on some.
But
I
Moses
think so, too.
did murder the woman. You know, there's something to be
But
said
you also
there.
said that they did. Seems like a biological function. Like, are they? How intelligent are they? Are they more like animals? Are they more? Are they
Didn't
intelligent?
the woman attack Jody? I mean, whatever the doctor beforehand. The monster woman. Didn't the monster alien attack?
Oh, the female monster?
Yep.
Did she attack the white woman?
Yes.
For that.
I mean, the white woman
Too
was
much. I don't.
Trying to get into the
yes.
vehicle,
Right,
but
yes.
it was necessarily like attacking her. It was just that she was in close proximity with Moses at the time.
Yeah. Okay. Tiger was an executing ritual. Everyone agreed. So.
Yeah, they were just coming here to red shop. It didn't matter, you know, because the predator was coming to red shop. There was no like, you know, he was definitely not coming to for any other thing than to, you know, take them strolls out your head and keep it moving.
Oh God. And yes, the film did come out back in 2011. Does it really need one?
Yeah,
No, I don't think
I don't
so.
think so. No.
It was like a closed kind of thing because, as far as we know, all the aliens were in that last blast, and that was the end of that.
And Moses went to prison for how long?
So like it's a very real, but it's a very real world ending, right? So a lot of the times, like my gripe with sci-fi and horror is that you never get to see the repercussions of what happened. Like people go on like these murderous benders and survive like these insane situations, and then you just like a cop car pulling up into the distance. But it's like, no, 17 people were just murdered. We need to address this. So even though it's not an ending where it's like a happy ending all the way, because most get recognized, but he's still getting arrested. True to what would happen in life. Not only is he getting grabbed for that, like he previously escaped police custody for suspicion of robbery.
And that's the part that bugs me out. Like throughout everything that's going on, this thing was still haunting him. And it, again, very critical, very typical of what happens in real life, right? It's just like you're dealing with so much other shit in the world, and this one little, I don't want to say little, but this one thing just keeps haunting you throughout your rest of your life. Like they was after this man this whole time about fucking robbery. Meanwhile, you got fucking, you know, day after tomorrow aliens coming down crazy. Like it was too much. It was too much for me. It was too much for me.
And then my problem
Yeah.
is, even though we see these, we don't get to see these type of situations play out enough. And I like that what you said. 17 people just got murdered. Someone got to get arrested. But at the same time, it's always in the black films. I feel, especially in the black sci-fi films, where you see realistic things like police shooting black people, or police throwing black people in jail.
But that would be the honest depiction though. And
Yes.
that's why I feel like there is such a disconnect, even though like sci-fi and horror are like my main genres.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like always a disconnect with these movies where it's like I want to believe in the fullness of the world you created for me, but all this shit seemed fake. Like
Mm-hmm.
toward the end.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to be able to send the world that you create. So now we have a situation where he's like this folk hero because he's gonna go to jail.
Yes.
But them chanting his name, the people, his Bach knows what he did.
Yeah.
And I think that's a direct reflection of like what most of the situations are when you're being taken away by the police. It's your people know who you are and they know what you did to escape the inevitability of being a black man in a crazy situation.
The bouncer writes, this was a cosmic horror film. We have no idea where the aliens came from or what their purpose was. Aliens were a biological overrun from a larger threat. Hey, that's a sequel idea. You might want to write that. You might want to write that one out.
Yeah.
Great idea.
Yeah. They also said the two little kids grow up in a sequel to fight the bigger threat, and Boyega trains them. All right, there you go. You got it. I mean,
Write the fan. We're ready.
Yeah, he got to get out of prison first, though. That's the one thing. My man is doing major time for major crimes.
Major time.
So even the police will inevitably find the bodies of these aliens, it's still you in jail, Moses. Goddamn.
But all the aliens got blown up, right?
But not every single part of them. There's remnants, and they have witnesses. Not that it matters when it comes to black people.
Yeah, I was about to say he's still a black man. Somehow it's still gonna be his fault.
And nothing's on. As far as we know, nothing's on film, except for maybe there's security cameras that picked them up, but I don't think anything's been filmed.
Not really, not like that.
Well, they're big on CCTV over there, so you would think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I mean, still, I guess the aliens ended up killing everybody, but. That's the problem. There'd be bodies where it should be like, well, what killed this? The aliens or you? And we got you. We don't have the aliens, so your ass is staying in jail. That's. Yeah.
It's like, really? I did all of this? Really?
Hold this up.
I peeled off the nose or a fucking hi-hat? Really? Mm-hmm. No.
No good deed goes unturned. You know what I mean? It all comes back to you. Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Any other lasting thoughts that you guys or impressions you have about this film? And also just about John Boyega. This was similar to what you said earlier, Chase and Lux. This was my first time ever seeing John Boyega in anything. And I was just like, this man has such a career in front of him. Like just the way that he expresses his energy, his emotion. Ever since then, I was looking forward to everything else he's ever done. So I'm really glad we got to watch this again.
Yeah, go ahead, Chase and Lutz, and then I'll follow up.
With me, I love this movie, so it's a thing where it's like Blade or like Queen of the Damned. It doesn't matter where it is in the movie, what time of day or Attack the Block is on. Guess what we're doing? We're watching Attack the Block. It's just an amazing movie. It's great social commentary, and it still manages to be funny. Because one thing about us, we gonna laugh.
Mm-hmm. We gonna sing.
We gonna laugh. Made shit bearable, and it really was a testament to that. Like, I loved this like black sci-fi creature feature, like coming of age story. It's perfect to me. It really is. It's a great movie.
Tiger GD, talk about a funny dude. He said, "Dude said it's blacker than my cousin."
Yeah, cut by my cousin Fetty.
Yeah. And that's something I'll say, especially on the rewatch. But I remember when I watched it, how much I loved John immediately. And, like, y'all, it was my first time ever seeing him when I first saw it. And I remember when Finn, when he was cast as Finn, and I was like, oh, shit, my man from Attack the Block is about to be Fuego. And you know how it turns out. And rewatching it, you're like, damn, this is kind of like the situation. Once again, of Star Wars just seems to waste actors sometimes because the same situation happened to man who played Anakin, not the young Anakin, but the grown Anakin. Because I've seen him in other flicks, and he's not great, but a pretty good actor. Like
Ben, you might have to turn up your volume because people are having a little hard time hearing you.
Oh, okay. Hold on 1 second. But yeah, let's say.
Big Daddy Kane writes, anyone else have a harder time understanding white British accents than the black British accents? Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, but what I was saying was that like it's like Boyega got wasted as Finn, basically. Too long didn't read,
Oh,
Boyega.
so wasted.
Yeah, wasted.
So wasted.
Very much.
Yeah, and Blur Girl on Twitter had a similar comment.
Yes,
she said, imagine if this energy for Moses went into Finn.
Mm.
Like even just a drop of it, like just a drop of fucking logic instead of Ray. But I'm not. You know what? At the end of the day, he got his bag. Yep. I'm happy John got his bag, and he's saying what he needs to say, and he's big, and he's being vocal, and it is what it is, and he don't give a fuck. He's gonna let everybody know what's up.
The bag got gotten. That's that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. We love it here.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys have any other thoughts about that you want to share, but I did want to really just truly everybody in Twitch and everyone who's watching on I think Facebook and other places who was watching on Pluto TV. And I'm also glad that people found out about Pluto TV because I didn't use it before and I wasn't aware that it's like free. This is not an ad.
Yeah.
Literally me like just sharing that I appreciate it, and I also appreciate that Pluto TV worked with us to get this program. So they programmed the whole channel for us, you guys. So thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah. Also, thank you, Joe Cornish, as we said, the writer and director of Attack Block. He gave us his blessings on. Shout out to all of who joined. I know tons of people from Nigeria were in there. Like everyone really came together, came through, and I really think we should do this again for another film. So I wonder what film you guys are thinking of. Like look on Pluto TV, see if you see something that sounds like that looks really good that you think it's going to be fun to live tweet or live watch together. We'll talk to Pluto. We'll get it popping. Also, obviously, Chasing Lux, if you want to come back, you are more than welcome to come back, especially if it's sci-fi horror. I know that's your jam.
That's my jam.
Yeah, and like we always say, please support for all nerds. We are an independent geek and pop culture brand. We talk about geek and pop culture from the perspective of two Black people, but also from the perspective of people of color, because we want to target our color creators, both independent and those with the larger platform. So we want to make sure you guys understand and make sure Sean/all-nerds. You can hit up. We have plenty of that will work for your budget. We make sure of that, and also to us on all of our over the web on forms about. But before we stop anything, Chasing Lux, I want you to go ahead and tell people about Thumbstick Mafia and yourself and where they can find you.
Word life.
Oh wow. We help people that are content creators figure out how to navigate streaming live content on platforms and just how to be seen and supported and how to grow within the industry. Thumbstickmafia.com. It's really easy, really straightforward. And I wanted to thank you guys for making my movie night idea dream come true. It was really, really fun.
Absolutely.
Allow it. Allow it.
Allow it.
I'm going to be saying this again. Bruv, allow it. All that shit.
Allow it, bruv.
Allow it. Ben, I mean, you're spinning tomorrow. Is that true?
Yes, I am. Tomorrow is the one artist formerly known as and known as Prince's born
His
day.
birthday.
Yes, and so I'm not sure when or what time just yet. So hopefully, all of y'all out there watching right now are subscribed to us on twitch.tv/forallnerds and got notifications turned on, all that good stuff, because I will be going live on here and doing a real in-depth, lengthy Prince set. Trust me on that. Like,
Yes.
it's gonna be some shit. Please believe it. Thank y'all, Chasing Lux, Tatiana King, everyone out there. This was mind blowing to me. The response,
Mind blowing,
from everyone to this live viewing, from leading up to it, from Joe Cornish to all of y'all out there on the internet who were just like assaulting the tweets today to get to see.
Thank you, April Rain, for
yes,
the show. Thank you.
Thank you to Blur Girl. Thank you to the Nerds of Color, the Geeks of Color. Everybody was just out there retweeting this shit. Tweeting Boyega's block, Attack the Block. Yo, I was mind blown, yo. I mean, thank you so much. Yes.
We're thinking it happened, and this just comes to show you, like, this all came together within the span of like a couple of days. I don't know if y'all realize that, but we were working at this to make this happen. So I want to shout out personally the Patreon fam. I see y'all in the chat. Quiet Stormborn, I see y'all in the chat. This is because of you. You see these boxes and all this live from the spaceship and all these all these graphics and shit. This is because of you guys. This is because of your donations. Donations.
Gifts.
Thank you.
Gifts.
Gifts. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you. Love you always. And like I said, BenHaMeen spinning tomorrow. Make sure you follow Chasing Lux. Make sure you follow Thumbstick Mafia. Make sure you're following For All Nerds. You can follow me as well at Tatiana King. BenHaMeen, where can they find you?
At DJ BenHaMeen, and pretty much at DJ BenHaMeen on everything.
Word. And we'll be back. We're gonna do this again, y'all. We'll figure out which
Hold on. Before we go.
Mm-hmm.
Because I did not notice. I was thinking Hollywood Shuffle because I'm a huge Robert Townsend fan.
Okay.
But people are saying that a little movie called Blade is on.
Blade is back. That's what I said. Don't threaten me with a good time.
And, I'm not one of the motherfuckers who tries to ice skate uphill. So, I think
we might have to do Blade.
I think our next choice has been made for us, as they say. Wow.
Wesley still curve us as he's done for many years, even though he follows us.
We're going on like 7 years straight of Wesley giving us the hard curve. But,
that's okay.
That's how it happens.
We're still the mighty For All Nerds, and we're still going to win it. I appreciate it. You guys, love you.
Yep. Peace out, y'all.